October, that special time of year where dressing like a corpse and lying to people professionally can be seen as charming. Hello everyone, my name is Chase and I am a mentalist magician, and in today's video we're going to be taking some classic tricks and making them absolutely horrifying. We're not revealing secrets in today's video. Oh no. This video is all about presentation and how you can take those classic tricks and turn them into something theatrical or spine-tingling, perfect for Halloween. Earlier this week, I asked people on my social media and on YouTube to give me some classic effects that they want to have spookified for this Halloween, and you guys didn't disappoint. So I'm gonna get all my favorite ones together and we're gonna have a little bit of a brainstorming session and see what we can come up with. By the way, if you are a magician or a mind reader, I do really highly recommend doing this sort of thing because it makes us grow as performers. Instead of learning new tricks, get the tricks that you already know, just add in a little bit of different presentation to it and see where it can take you. So grab a deck of cards, grab a skull, grab a nun. I don't know, nuns have always creeped me out a little bit, don't ask why, because things are gonna get a little bit horrific. Let's go. Okay, so I have my laptop set up with some of your suggestions. I've got my trusty Property of Camp 52 pen and my notebook so I can jot down and brainstorm some ideas. I'm thinking we're going to go with a bit of family-friendly magic first, just to get the ball rolling, and then we'll end up getting a little bit darker as we progress, because I've never shied away from dropping the pen. I've never shied away from dropping the pen. No, it's a pencil anyway, Chase. I've never shied away from darker magic, so I literally just did that to my pencil again and again and again, and I didn't drop it this time. Risky, but hey, you know, we're summoning demons in this video, so I'm sure we're going to get a bit riskier than dropping a pencil. So I just did it again. What is wrong with me? Okay, like I said, we're going to start off with something a little bit more family friendly. So let's find something simple and innocent, almost wholesome. Hey, that's a good one. How about the vanishing silk? Oh, you know the one. When you get a nice bright red silk and you make it completely disappear. It's one of the first tricks that you probably learn as a magician in a magic kit. I don't know, I learned it quite late on in my career as a magician, but I know it's pretty common in like magic kicks and stuff like that. So let's spookify it. Okay, so my first thought is, what if it wasn't a silk? And what if it represented something? It could still be a silk, I suppose, but what if it represented something a little bit different? What if it like represented a soul? What if it represented a soul? That would be good. You know, keeping with the theme of Halloween and things like that. That'd be good. You know, we can add a bit of a storyline to it. So we tell the storyline of there was a performer in an old theatre and she magically disappeared, but she was always known for wearing a scarf. And this silk isn't just an ordinary silk, it's a little bit left of what was on the silk, on the scarf even, so like a little bit that was left on the scarf, and when she disappeared that was the only thing that was left of her, for example. Yeah, that could work. Let's jot that down. Yeah, we can add a little bit more lore to this, I'm thinking. You know, we can say, especially if you're performing in a theatre, it could be the theatre that you're performing in. You could say every year this scarf appears, and tonight is the night, funny enough, that historically she disappeared and the scarf has appeared here. And if you can listen closely, sometimes you can still hear the applause of when she was performing. I like that line. Yeah, let's jot that down. Okay, yeah, and then what you can do is just do a normal vanishing effect with however you want to vanish it. Yeah, that works. Vanishing silk, a bit of lore to it, a little bit of a backstory. I like it. Vanishing Silk, Spookified. Is this how we're going to call it now? Spookified? This is how we're going to call it. Okay, let's now move something into the mind reading world. Okay. Yeah, we've got, a little trick called the drawing duplication. Most mentalists know this one, or you should know it anyway. Let's do a drawing duplication. So if you don't know what a drawing duplication is, basically it's when the participant or the person you're performing to draws a picture and you don't see it, and then you perfectly replicate it. So we could have this themed for Halloween instead of a normal drawing that most people do, like a person or a house or a car or a dog or a cat or anything that most people do. You can tell them to draw something scary, a horrific thing, something that they fear, for example. A nightmarish creature, or actually one of their nightmares. Draw one of their nightmares, and you can do the same thing as a drawing duplication, but draw their actual nightmare. And then you can, sprinkle in some cold reading there as well. You can talk about some things that like what their dreams mean, what their nightmare means for them. Yeah, that's a good one. Let's jot that one down. It doesn't even have to be a drawing duplication either, I suppose. You could also, if you're worried about doing a drawing duplication, you could have it as just a word. So like, what is their fear? So, write down what your fear is, and then you just guess what that fear is, and you do a bit of reading into it as to why they're potentially scared of it. So like, yeah. It's an idea. I think the drawing duplication's a little bit stronger though. Oh, here's a good one. A witch hand routine. I love a witch. Who doesn't love a witch hand routine? Or witch hand routine with WITCH. I'm trademarking that. Witch hand routine. Oh, that can be a new thing for me. Witch hand routine. Nobody steal that. It's probably already stolen, isn't it? Well, if it isn't, this video is going to be dated, so screw you. If I do bring out the witch hand routine, you're seeing the brain fart that is the witch hand routine. Halloweeny. Witch hand. Witch. Okay, so we can have a little bit of lore like we did with the handkerchief, but it can be something to do with a witch. It doesn't have to be a coin or a ring or something like that. It can be a cursed object like a black stone or an old skeleton or a key or an eye, like a fake eye, like a glass eye or something like that a witch used to have. And you can do the same thing. And instead of doing witch hand, you can have a group of people together, like a seance, and like you're summoning this witch from beyond the grave or something like that. And you leave the room, someone takes the cursed object, and you come back in the room, and not only do you guess which hand it's in, but you also guess who picked it up. Yeah. That's a fun one. Purely because the name is Witch Hand, but yeah, I like that. Let's jot that down. Alright, moving on. Oh, here's a classic. Linking rings. Yes, please. I love linking rings. Alright, so what can we do with linking rings? What other things are rings? What are rings that are somewhat haunted, Think of The Ring, like the movie The Ring, but there's nothing really much you can do there. You could potentially have the image of the rings linking, but then that's just digital on a phone or something like that. That doesn't really work. Okay, I'm thinking again, lore-based, presentation-based, handcuffs. They could, handcuffs, you could say that these were used by some prisoners in the 1800s. I don't know why the 1800s, but that's always a spooky period. The 1800s, and the people in the prison were doing a ritual one night, and these handcuffs belonged to someone who went crazy afterwards. And you could have the handcuffs linked You can hang them up or something like that on something. You step away and you tell the story of the ritual that the prisoners were doing, the name of the prisoner, and he went absolutely crazy. And as soon as you say the word crazy, the handcuffs can unlink, and then you can say something. Oh, because that's quite a nice image of it swinging down as well. Oh, and then it could swing for an uncomfortable amount of time, like like it slowly stops. Or if it swings and then it slows down like usual, but then because to make it a little bit more creepier, it starts swinging a little bit more again, like picking up momentum. Yeah, it's not really a linking rings trick anymore, but it's a hands-off one. There we go, that's an idea. By the way, if you don't know how some of these classic tricks work and you're thinking, mate, my silk don't vanish, I just blow my nose with it, then don't worry. Over on the Chase membership, which is my membership over on Patreon, I'm going to be going through and sharing some of the secrets of how these tricks work. And obviously try not to give away too many secrets, but yeah, so then if you like some of these presentations that you've seen already in this video or will see in this video and you want to see how they're done, check over the Chase membership, because then you can actually go out and perform these tricks. These are quite classic tricks. I'm surprised you don't already know them anyway. You can probably find tutorials over on YouTube. Probably shouldn't be telling you that, but if you look hard enough, these tricks are probably somewhere for free instead of paying for a membership. Or you can just, support me as a content creator. I don't know. Just join my membership. Okay, let's look for a card trick. Everyone loves a card trick, don't they? Oh, rising card. Rising card would be a fantastic one because it's like rising of the dead or something like that, like zombie card, for example. Yeah, let's do a rising card trick. I mean, like, I'm pretty sure I've seen videos of stuff like this before, so I'm sure I'm just taking things already. But like, you can get someone to pick a card. Let's say the Queen of Hearts. They pick the Queen of Hearts. And the deck can be like a deck of cards that an oracle used to use or something like that. You can make it weathered, you can make it look old. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, let's go with that. So, and you get someone to pick a card. It's the Queen of Hearts. And then, what do we do next? Rising card. So then you say, like, this oracle always had a favourite card, and it just so happened to be the Queen of Hearts. By the way, what card did you pick? Queen of Hearts? No way. Most people who pick the Queen of Hearts with Queen of Hearts with this deck of cards, something strange usually happens. I'm not sure, but let's see if it will work. And then hands off, the card can fly out of the deck. But then that's more of a haunted deck, which is another trick in itself. Rising card. You can hold the deck up, I suppose, and you can make it rise out of the deck. Yeah. Or you can go to like ambitious card, put the Queen of Hearts in the middle of the deck, and you go, what was the card? It's always something weird that happens with it. What was the card? Queen of Hearts. Interesting. Blah blah blah. Something always weird happens with the Queen of Hearts. It always comes back on top. Ambitious card. And there's quite a lot of ideas with that. You've got the ambitious card, you've got the haunted deck, and you've got the rising card. There we go, there's some ideas for you for card tricks. Oh, here's a good one. Cut and restored rope. I'm not too familiar with cut and restored ropes. I've never owned cut and restored ropes. So I'll be honest, I don't really know how the trick works. Again, I know it's a classic trick, but I'm not really a classic magician, so I suppose you don't need to know how it works to think of a presentation for it. Okay, so the rope symbolises I'm trying to think, what can the rope symbolise that's dark and edgy and Halloweeny? Oh, this is how my brain works, by the way. I just make weird noises and do this stuff with my hands. Okay, so... Okay, like couples, spiritual bindings. In the 1800s, again, there was a cult couple, a couple that were in a cult who believed in higher powers, and they bound themselves with their hands in a ceremony, in a ritual, and this is the rope that they used. And what they always said is that they'd always belong together. So if one of them died, they would always come back together in another life or in the afterlife or whatever. And you know, eventually one of them did die, but the woman of the couple ended up cutting a bit of the rope off and buried them, cremated them with her husband, her fiance, her boyfriend, whatever, or girlfriend, 21st century. And that can happen. It got burnt, and a few days later passed. She was still grieving, and lo and behold, that bit that was cut off on the rope ended up coming back together. Would that work? Is that scary enough? Is that spooky enough? I did say I was going to get spookier. Okay, again, I don't really know how the cut and restored rope works, but maybe there's a way that you can cut it in different areas. So like she was saying that she was mourning. After mourning, she was grieving, so she cut some more off, and after that, she tried to find love again, but it didn't work. So she cut that off because she was always reminded of him, so she cut some more off. And then they all come back together, but they all still scarred her in some sort of way, and the rope always had like a I don't know, like a blood stain on it. So when you put them back together, you can see exactly where it was cut, but it was cut with like a blood stain or something like that. Would that work? I don't know how it would work because I don't know how the trick works, but potentially that is an idea. That's an idea. Let's jot that down. Okay, let's go with one more real scary one to finish off with. Oh, that's a good one. And a trick I love to do. And it's scary even without spookifying it. That word's definitely going to be coined, spookify. PK touches, or, you know, if you don't know what PK touches are, someone sitting on their own or nowhere near them feels something or feels a touch, or I've done it before. I do it a lot when I've got two people, I touch one person and the other person feels it, something like that. So that's quite an easy one to spookify. You can have it as a phantom or a ghost or a spirit doing it. Oh yeah, you can get them to wear like a haunted object, like a piece of jewellery, like a ring or a necklace or glasses. You don't often see haunted glasses. That's quite a good idea. Haunted glasses. Because then you can like make them move on their own in a separate trick. Okay, haunted glasses, haunted object. Yeah, PK touches, going back to the PK touches. Yeah, you can just say some people who wear this object, these glasses, often feel the presence of the person who used to own these glasses, and you can set them far away, and you can get them to lift up their arm if they feel something. Yeah, that would work. And then they can just sit on their own for a bit, and it could be strangely awkward, you know. The theatre of cruelty, if you've ever done drama or anything like that, I love the theatre of cruelty. We can just make them sit for a really uncomfortable amount of time, and everyone's just staring at the person in the seat with these glasses on, and they're just standing there with their eyes closed or sitting there with their eyes closed, and then suddenly, I mean, you could be doing potentially another trick or something like that while they're sitting in the corner. You could be doing another trick on their own. and then I just tell someone I'm performing to while they're sitting there, and just keep an eye on them to see if anything happens, and then suddenly at some point their arm lifts up. That's quite good. Yes, I like that. And if you wanted to double it up with touching one person, the other person feels it, you can say this is like a spiritual connection. So wedding rings, for example, like we can get someone to wear a wedding ring, or it can be a ring wrapped around a cord for a necklace. Get one person to wear it, get another person to wear the opposing ring, you know, as weddings happen, 2 rings. Usually 2 people for a wedding, Chase. And, you know, I can touch one person while they're wearing one ring, and the other person who's closing their eyes can feel it, and they can say exactly where they felt it. Yes, that's another good idea. There's 2. I really like the first idea, though. I really like that first one. I think that is it. We've gone through quite a few. Sorry if I didn't use your one. But I like these little brainstorming sessions. Maybe I'll do more videos like this. So, there you have it. Some classic tricks. And now I've made them beautifully disturbing. Whether you're performing at a Halloween party or at a haunted place, or you just want to terrify your mates, I don't blame you. Try out these different presentations, or your own presentations. In fact, I would love to hear what sort of presentations that you come up with your classic effects as well. And you know, we can jam, we can talk. I'm horrifically free most of the time. Aren't all magicians. So yeah, ping me a message and we can discuss. In all seriousness, the same trick with a different presentation can look like a completely separate trick from the last one. And depending on how far you are on this magical journey that you're on, you'll start to see that. I've been to a lot of magic shows where I've figured out the method, but I appreciate the presentation over it all. And yeah, you'll start picking that up the more you get into magic, and the more methods you learn, you'll actually see that a lot of methods are the same. It's just cooked up in a different way. And if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more videos like this, then subscribe to the channel. Well, that way I will know that you like this sort of content, and I will keep making this sort of content. You know, it doesn't have to be Halloween themed, it can be Christmas themed, it can be Easter themed, it can be anything themed. I don't know. I'm open to suggestions. But anyway, yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you in the next video. Goodbye.